In 1922, a crack Aberdonian was appointed Director General of a new British broadcasting institution. This man promptly sat down and defined 3 principles in accordance with which a public service broadcaster should operate. Today, still listened to by millions, they survive quite nicely indeed, thank you. If you want a podcast, if you've already exhausted what they have to offer, and if you can find it, maybe you should listen to Inform, Educate, and Entertain.
Hello, my name is Sam Wilkinson and this is Inform, Educate and Entertain, the Radio 4 style panel show for people who aren't allowed on Radio 4. Every week on this show I'll be inviting 3 candidates to interview for the most prestigious job in media, Director General of the fictional broadcasting company that only exists in my head. Why would I invent a company and then ask somebody else to be in charge of it for me? Because I'm severely lacking in self-confidence, that's why. My candidates will face a series of exciting challenges where their goal is to inform, educate, or entertain at all times. Every time I feel one of those things, I will ring this bell. Ding! By which I mean I will later edit in this sound of a bell. Ding! This week's candidates include a Queen superfan and one of York's most beloved comedians, a woman whose mic was a bit crackly when we recorded and I didn't notice, sorry about that, Becky, and the funniest mononym since Cher. They are Chris Booker, Becky Heaviside, and Silky.
Insert audience noise. Hooray!
It's all right. I'll put all that in the dub. Now, these shows normally have a live studio audience, but for several reasons, not least my complete lack of popularity, I've had to settle for a much cheaper, dead studio audience. But that means we can get to know our contestants because they've been allowed to bring one person each to join last week's audience of Victoria Wood, Anne of Cleves, and Emma Crossan's granddad, Alan. Silky, who have you brought along, please?
I brought along Clement Freud because he was a staple of Radio 4 panel games for many years. But after he died, it came out that he was, well, if you imagine that Jimmy Savile was the Tesco value sex pest, then Clement Freud was the Waitrose version. And it's been quite cleanly excised from Radio 4 history that he was ever broadcast by them. So I thought it'd be entertaining to have him in the audience. So anytime I feel that I'm letting down the audience, I can just hop over and go, oh, actually, I've never had unconsensual sex with anyone above or below the age of consent.
This is excellent. Because, as you've just noticed, I've been planning to read out the full list of dead audience members every week, so that will be a thorn in my side for many weeks to come. Chris, who have you brought?
I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to have to say him, aren't I?
I don't know. Who are... Yeah, what?
Yeah, I'm going to have to... I've brought along... Yeah.
Go on then.
Yeah, I brought him along.
Yeah, go on.
Because I already had him. It's Freddie Mercury.
Because you've already had him.
I had his body lying around, and I thought I might as well bring him along wherever I go.
Famously loved his fans.
Did, yeah.
He'll be handing out points to you. Becky.
By way of a bit of a kind of an apology for not knowing stuff and being out of the comedy loop a bit, I'm bringing along Des O'Connor because when he died recently and everybody lamented his passing as a comedy great, I genuinely thought he'd already been dead for decades. So by way of saying sorry to the great man, I'm gonna bring him along.
Fantastic choice. I will feel him looking over my shoulder, judging every single awful joke in this script as we go through.
Let's take these dead people into round 1.
Inform, Educate, and Entertain.
It is. It's too long. It's too long for a little sting.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it every week, though.
Oh, I thought you meant sting as in like...
Roxanne!
Yeah.
He's not dead.
I was like, how do you make a robot sting voice? Like... I mean, he's quite robotic anyway.
That's a different podcast.
Points of information and education and possibly entertainment. Sting's real name is Gordon Matthew Sumner, and he loves it when people call him Stig.
Stig of the dump.
Stig of the police.
That is an entertainment point right there. I won't give you the information point because I already knew his real name.
Yeah.
Still, points on the board for Silky.
Didn't he sing like the lead harmonies in Dire Straits' Money for Nothing?
Yes.
I'll have that information point to Chris.
Becky was just about to say that Sting was born in Wallsend in 1953.
Don't think you can bring along your delightful pieces of trivia to cover up who you've brought as your audience member.
You didn't know who Clement Freud was. You thought it was one of Mr. Kipling's fancy range.
With numerical inevitability, round 1 is where we begin. There's nothing the medium of broadcast does better than teaching us about the stuff we thought we already knew, and that's what I've asked my guests to do. Each week, I give my guests a straightforward question to answer and see how well they can blow me away with their intellect, insight, and sheer enjoyability. Because it's our second episode, that's the theme for this week. So, our second related question this week is, what links apple crumble and custard? Becky, why don't you go first?
Apple crumble, despite the name, is almost certainly not named after Thomas Crumble Robbins, who was born in Spartanburg, South Carolina in 1885. 1885 also saw the first successful appendectomy. Somebody who could have benefited from a successful appendectomy is master escape artist Harry Houdini, who died from a ruptured appendix. Houdini's wife Bess held a séance on the anniversary of his death every year for a decade to see if he would make contact. The 2000 film Seance has a rating of 80% on RottenTomatoes.com. There is a tomato called a Blaby Special. Nigel Lawson was given a life peerage as Baron Lawson of Blaby in 1991. His daughter Nigella's favourite food is syrup pudding and custard.
A solid start. Becky Heaviside, 6 points. Well done.
Thank you.
Doubly worth it for Chris's dawning realisation. Oh my God, she's put facts in. I just wrote it on a sock.
It's like you can read my face. I forgot to add the interesting bit.
Silky, why don't you give us what you've got?
Apple, my best beloved, was founded in April 1976 by two Steves and one Ronald. Ronald Wayne sold his 10% share back to the Steves 12 days later for only $800. In 2018, Apple became the first US company to meet the £1 trillion market cap. His shares would have been worth $95 billion.
Oh.
He did, however, keep the original contract, though he sold it for $500 in the early 90s. It sold at auction 18 years later for $1.59 million. He now lives, my best beloved, in a trailer park in Pahrump, Nevada. Pahrump, as you may know, is in the lyrics of The Little Drummer Boy, Pahrump-a-pum-pum, written in 1941 by Catherine Kennicott Davis as The Carol of the Drum, first recorded in 1951 by the Trapp family singers, you know, from The Sound of Music and that, who left Austria shortly after it crumbled. Oh, Apple crumbled. When Germany annexed it on the 12th of March 1938, this was known as the Anschluss, or connection, another word for link. What links Apple and crumble? An Anschluss. This was achieved by Hitler putting in the Wehrmacht to Austria. Putting, when you say it in an Austrian accent, sounds very like pudding, which is, you may be surprised to hear, German for custard. And that, my best beloved, is what connects apple, crumble, and custard. Also, best beloved, is how the writer Rudyard Kipling referred to the readers of his Just So stories. Mr. Kipling does not exist, though. Never existed. He was a marketing ploy. And the only cake that Mr. Kipling currently make in their range that's anything to do with custard is the apple, pear, and custard crumble. Double and triple threat. Boom.
I feel like an absolute monster for only giving 1 point for all that bonus stuff on the end, but I already knew about Rudyard Kipling and Mr. Kipling. And yet, Silky, in that round, you scored 15 points, bringing your total up to 16, storming into the lead. I am definitely going to have to rejig this later on to make it look like a closer contest. Chris Booker, take the stage. Give us what you got.
Oh, okay. I'll just go for it. I didn't look anything up.
Ding. 2 points right there.
Information and entertainment in one short sentence.
Which you may think will make what's going to follow sound like just such education off the top of my head. But when you hear it, you'll go, oh, he looked nothing up. Okay. So what is the question again?
What links apple crumble and custard?
Well, apple crumble is a command you'd give to an apple to undermine its self-esteem. You get steam from boiling water. Water is the thing that the sea is made from.
Wow.
C is the third letter of the alphabet. I recently found out that alphabet is derived from the first two letters of the Greek alphabet, alpha, beta.
Ooh.
That is a useless fact that wastes brain space. Space is that infinite stretch of nothingness that surrounds the Earth, very much like the sea of the universe. However, there is no sea in universe. There is a C in...
Crumble and custard.
No, scaphogamite. I think, I don't know, my dad taught me that word, but Google doesn't recognise it, so I think he just made it up. He does like to drink a lot of alcohol. Alcohol is what Jesus' blood is made from, according to Catholicism. Catholicism ruins everything. But everything tastes like chicken. Chickens lay eggs, which are the main ingredient in custard.
Oh, one on the end there. For a man who went into that saying, "Oh, I didn't do this at all," yeah, you scored 11 points in that round.
Yeah, but I did. One of the facts was a word that I'm fairly sure my dad's made up.
Can we get points for stuff our parents say that is wrong? Because my dad is the king of making up proverbs, and he once said to me, "What do I look like? Some kind of pimp on a molehill?"
Right, you're getting exactly the same 2 points that Chris just got for informing me of a thing that your dad said, and for entertaining the shit out of me while you did it.
Now we've got that out of our systems, it's time for the announcer to remind Sam to move on to round 2.
That's right. At the end of that round, the scores currently stand at Becky Heaviside is on 9 points, Chris Bucket on 12, and Silky on 16. But let's plough straight on into round 2. The Worthy Drama Round. Yes, round 2 is the Worthy Drama Round. Why run a public service broadcaster if we can't make some incredibly earnest drama which not only pulls on the heartstrings but fills that heart with knowledge while it's there? Last week I gave my 3 guests a title and told them to go write a short radio play for us all to perform now. Unfortunately for them, the play titles I gave them are rubbish. I still have my little scoring bell and will be ringing out every time I feel that little twinge of points. Plus, there are bonus points on offer here for the best actor across all 3 plays, so I expect some RADA level stuff here. Chris, what was your play's title?
My play was called As You Like Biscuit.
'Twas the night before Thursday, and all through the Tesco near the level crossing, people were doing their shopping.
Hark, my dear sweet mother, why do the Jaffa cakes live on the biscuit aisle? Surely the cake aisle is the appropriate home.
My child, your constant questions have given me a massive migraine. You are the reason Mummy has turned to ketamine. Horse, my kingdom for horse tranquilizers.
The tale of why Jaffa cakes live on the biscuit aisle rather than the cake is roughly 2 minutes long, give or take. Many years ago, the Duke of the Biscuit was a cruel leader. He was also a bit chubby, probably because of the biscuits.
I hereby banish all non-biscuit products from my aisle. No more crackers, even those Hovis ones that are clearly just digestive. I banish thee to the crisp aisle. Rice cakes, I banish thee to the fucking bin. And Jaffa cakes, get to the cake aisle where you obviously belong.
So unfair. We each have a right to reside in the biscuit aisle. Why should we leave? Just because we don't fit a certain definition doesn't mean we don't belong.
I agree.
Me too.
Not you, rice cakes. We all agree you actually do belong in the fucking bin.
But rice cakes slumped off to the bin, where they fucking belong.
Oh, it's such a joy to hear someone reading this sensibly.
Thank you, Christopher.
What can we do, Jaffa cakes? Neither of us have biscuit in our name. You have to admit you are called cake. Maybe you do belong in the cake aisle.
Nonsense. All the world is a stage, and I want to sit on the biscuity bit of it.
After saying that awkwardly shoehorned in line from an actual play, Jaffa Cakes and Jacob's Crackers set off towards their new homes. Later, a shopper was searching frantically.
Excuse me, sir. I require aid.
Why, yes, milady. How may I assist?
I'm searching for Jaffa cakes in that orange cracker selection box. I thought they once lived here.
They did, but I banished them.
Is there a problem here?
Yes, I was looking for Jaffa cakes and the short, fat man in a red dressing gown duped them.
I'll talk to him. They're probably on the cake aisle. Gary, have you been moving biscuits again?
I've been banishing cakes from my duchy.
Is that how you want to deliver that word?
I'll be honest, I gamble.
A duchy?
Oh, of course, I have heard it said out loud.
Go take a 10-minute break. This is your last chance. I see you do this again, I'll have to sack you. Oh, please put some trousers on. That dressing gown is clearly far too small.
So it was that the Duke was banished from his own land, no more to sit in the duchy, sent to sit in the off-white break room with the old coffee machine, or kafumashu. And what of the Jaffa cakes and crackers? Why, they returned to their rightful homes as honorary biscuits. The moral of the story is, rice cakes belong in the fucking bin.
Magnificent work, Chris. I think you rather undersold that on the way in. Now, I've handed out a lot of entertainment points in that section. I'm not going to reveal how I've scored anybody till the end of the round, but just talk me through the educational or informative aspect.
Right. Now, we've hit on a similar problem to round one, which is I felt that should take a bit of a back seat because I thought, I know what the point is. I know that really the message behind it is something to do with just have whatever you want. And technically, it's called the biscuit and snack aisle. If it helps, I'm not as humiliated as I thought I would be.
Becky, what was the play title I gave you?
You gave me Lady Windermere's Jam.
Happy birthday, Lady Windermere.
Lord Darlington, I'm sorry I cannot take your hand. As you can see, I'm very busy making jam.
Ah, yes, the delicate raspberry is the same shade as your pretty mouse.
Lord Darlington, I've told you before not to flirt with me.
And your teeth are as white as the pectin-enhanced jam sugar.
Lord Darlington, please stop.
Stop! Even though your husband is a wrong'un who's been sampling another older woman's conserves.
Please do not say such things, Lord Darlington. My emotions have reached a rolling boil, much like my fruit mixture.
Hello, my dear. Look what Mrs. Erlin gave me, a nice jar of strawberry jam.
Why ever did Mrs. Erlin give you jam?
Why? Because I bought her the fruit and the sugar.
Why are you buying ingredients for other women? It's so bad that my mum died when I was a child, so I can't bitch to her about what a dick you're being.
I've invited Mrs. Erlin over to the house this evening because I thought what you'd most like to do on your birthday is spend time with a woman you view as a rival.
Oh, how I wish this was future year 2020 and nobody was allowed in my house.
Hello, Mrs. Erlin.
Hello. It's so nice to meet you, Lady Windermere. You remind me a lot of myself when I was younger.
Lord Darlington and I were just going out for a walk.
This must be intolerable for you, Lady Windermere. Come away with me. I'll give you everything I have. My bread maker has a jam and jelly setting.
Oh, Lord Windermere, I must speak to you privately.
Very well, Darlington. If my husband cannot be faithful to me, I will run away with you.
Windermere, I need more blackmail money. I intend to be married and need some cash to set up a jam-making business that will keep me and my future intended in the manner to which we should like very much to become accustomed. I am glad my daughter inherited my jam-making skills and to have seen her again after all these years, although nobody must know I'm not dead after all. As me having left her father 20 years ago when she was just an ickle baby will bring shame on both of you for what I'm sure are very good societal reasons.
Well, here I go, running away with another man rather than having a simple conversation because I'm a product of my time and insecurities.
Lady Windermere, stop. You mustn't give up on marriage. Your husband loves you very much.
So you're not bonking him then?
Oh! No!
Excellent. I will never tell my husband that I almost left him.
I will never tell my wife her mother is alive.
I'm going to try and steal some other chap's wife instead.
And I'm probably going to blackmail you some more in the future when I run out of jam ingredients. Oh.
And they all live
happily ever after.
So, scores for that round remain secret, but we'll move on to the final play. Silky, what was your title?
My title was When Ben Met Jerry.
Magnificent.
Wow, that's a lot of aftershave. Hoo-doo-wee! Here, I got you some flowers.
They sure are pretty flowers.
The guy at the flower stall said the scent will come out more when you put them in water.
Oh. Jerry, that's sweet, but I can't smell anything.
You ain't got the Rona.
Not. I got a condition. Anosmia. No smell, no taste.
Like loud ties and floral wallpaper?
Geez, Jerry, these are the 1970s. It's all loud ties. I mean flavors.
You mean you can't taste anything?
It's what anosmia means, Jerry. I have severe anosmia. No sense of taste, no sense of smell. It's a disability. I'm all about the mouthfeel.
You guys ready to order?
Yeah, can I get a whole bowl of croutons from the salad bar, a bowl of half and half toffee and fudge pieces, and a pint of cream?
Sure, and for yourself... Oh, I lost it. And for yourself?
Fuck's sake, man.
Come on. No, you're giving that another go, Chris.
Sure, and for yourself.
I'm going to edit out every attempt you make until you make the good one.
Okay.
Come on, you guys, I ain't got all day.
Sure, and for yourself?
A flask of liquid nitrogen, a bunch of bananas, and a hammer, please, ma'am.
Uh-huh. You want tongs?
Sure, I should have thought they came with.
Fuck extra for tongs.
Okay, geez, Ben, that's sad. I mean, nothing?
I get used to faking it, so as not to hurt people's feelings.
You fake it?
All the time.
I'd know if someone was faking it with me.
How would you? I even signed up for a correspondence course in wine appreciation. I do a lot of correspondence courses.
You're kidding me.
Oh yeah. That's oaky. Oh God, that's good. I'm getting vanilla. Oh, notes of spring meadows and fresh lime. Oh yes. And there, just there. Oh, the floral top notes. Oh yeah, they're giving way to a soft acid base. And oh my God, yes, it's a Semillon Chardonnay.
I'll have what he's having.
I'm so sorry, Silky.
Don't fret.
Why are you apologising? I'm the one making you all do this. I should be apologising.
Let's fight the real enemy.
Did Ben really have anosmia? Is this an actual Ben and Jerry fact?
As far as I'm concerned, there are 9 actual facts in here. Yes, Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry Greenfield, suffers from severe anosmia. He has practically no sense of taste or smell. So Jerry used to make ice cream flavours that would get through to him. And the reason Ben and Jerry's ice cream are all about the cookie dough texture, the pieces, is because, I will give you the direct quote, "Because of this disability, I have an excellent sense of mouthfeel. Creaminess and crunchiness are very important to people who cannot taste."
That's good learning. That's getting you a couple more points. At the end of that round, the scores are, bringing up the rear is Chris on 24 points, Becky on 27, and Silky just in the lead on 30 points, but it is all to play for as we go into round 3.
It's time for this week's attempt at the third round.
Funnily enough, that trumpet sound is the sound an elephant makes when it orgasms.
All good panel shows have a third round, and I don't see why mine should be any different just because I don't have any good ideas for one. I'm still not sure about any of these 3, so like in all job interviews, the only way to solve this is with a quick fire round. Time to throw some themed questions at this wall of hilarity and see what sticks. It says here, reassure the candidates that any awkward silences will be edited out to make them sound on the ball and clever. Don't know what that's all about. Let's start with Chris. Chris, what's 1/60th of a minute?
1/360th of 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's 2 points for that. Yeah.
I've got an answer.
Go on then. What's your answer?
Long enough.
That is not a Radio 4 answer. That scores no points.
Sam, can I move to make a new rule that no one's allowed to steal someone else's question with a wittier answer than the one that you gave? Brutal emasculation.
Silky, who was the second man on the moon?
Neil Armstrong's novelty Eeyore backpack.
Yeah, fair enough. 1 point. Becky, how many seconds will it take for Silky to count out loud to 10 and back?
13 seconds.
13 seconds. Silky, you ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
4 seconds. I'm sorry, Becky, you're too far out with that one.
Seemed at like normal counting speed, though. I didn't know he was going to race it.
Well, you should have guessed that, shouldn't you?
I've already established that I'm very, very flexible with time, especially shorter increments.
Chris, when did you last do the ironing?
Genuinely, the last time I did the ironing was in a textiles lesson at school. I have never once ironed my own clothes.
Oh, God. 2 horrifyingly informative points for you. Silky, which is the best pudding? Note that there is a correct answer here.
Putting it in.
It's not the answer I've got on the card. Becky, do you want to give it a go?
I think it's Yorkshire pudding because I'm a savoury girl.
Ooh, it's good, but it's not the one. Chris?
I think it is a salty, sticky toffee pudding because
Oh my God, 3 points! Chris Booker, it is a sticky toffee pudding.
But I added salt because I'm a savoury girl.
I mean, I'm a savoury girl as well, but are you aware of the Cartmel sticky toffee pudding?
Fucking love a Cartmel.
I was asked to leave a restaurant in the Lake District when I asked, apparently with a slightly drunken and leering tone, the waiter, how sticky is your sticky toffee pudding? I mean, are we talking a man to a roof?
There's a point. That's going in. Becky, what is your policy on drinking in the office?
Hide it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's pretty good bossing. That's 2 points. Silky, if there was a dessert named after you, what would it be?
Probably a big area of low rainfall.
A solid bit of pun work. That's 2 points there. Chris, how do you explain these massive gaps in your CV?
I've not lived a very fulfilling life, but I figured I should draw attention to it.
2 points for honesty. Becky, your employees go on strike, demanding better pay and all the scripts they can eat. What do you do?
Join them. I'm very lazy.
Oh, yep, that's a point there. Silky, what's the most delicious thing within reach of you right now?
Human forehead.
Becky, same question.
I can show you my cat's delicious little face if you like. Look at his delicious little face.
And then you must eat it.
I'm not licking this, I know where it's been.
Oh.
He literally had a big load of shit caked onto his belly that I had to clean off with a flannel yesterday.
And you're claiming that as the most delicious thing?
I was just about to give Becky the lead on that one, and then you said that about the shit on the belly.
Yeah.
Chris, what's the most delicious thing within reach of you right now?
My thighs.
Points go to Becky. Why did you leave your last job, Silky?
Massive loss of life.
2 points there. Finally, it's the end of the interview, so of course, one for all of you. Have you got any questions for me?
A mate of mine once asked my advice on what to do in a job interview. So I gave her a list of things that she should say, and she didn't realise I was joking. So in the interview, she asked her interviewer, listen, is anyone in this office fit, or are they mainly of your level?
Well, if you want an answer, I'm sorry to say they are all pretty much like this.
Sweet.
I've got a question for you.
Becky.
Win in a fight, a gorilla or a polar bear?
Ooh. Where's the fight happening?
In space.
Yeah. In your living room, but in space.
In my living room, I think my living room is quite small. It's full of clutter. The gorilla's got nowhere to climb up and get out of the polar bear's reach, so it's polar bear all the way. Great question. Thank you very much for that. You can have 3 points. Chris, any questions from you?
How do you get your hair to look like that?
I haven't washed it in 3 days.
I've got a question for you.
Okay, I was just figuring out how to avoid that.
2 points to Chris.
Do you want geography, English, history, art and literature, science and nature, or sports and leisure?
Art and literature, please.
Does the Mona Lisa wear a necklace?
No.
Correct. That's 10 points for the beautiful interviewer.
Oh, thank you very much. Bonus point for you.
Shall we have a musical interlude while Sam does maths in public? Chris Solo.
My parents once had aspirations for me, if only they could see me now.
That is the end of the interviews and indeed the show, and I can now reveal the scores. I will go through them in no particular order. Chris Booker, 37 points. Becky Heaviside, 37 points.
Ooh.
Silky, 37 points. Delightful. We have a tie-break situation.
We've got to do it all again next Sunday.
Here is your tie-break. Whoever tells me the most interesting thing about fish will win.
Silverfish, the small arthropod, have anal glands that powerful that they can drink with their arses.
It's horrifying. It is interesting.
I've only got that if your fish has a problem with its swim bladder and starts kind of like lying about on its side like it might be about to die, you should feed it a frozen pea.
Thank God for that. That's more interesting and less grim.
Come on, Chris.
I come from a fishing town, and my parents in their back garden have an apple tree.
I thought you were going to say the sea.
They have an apple tree, and chickens lay eggs, and eggs are the main ingredient of custard, and that's how you link apple crumble with custard.
Our winner this week with 38 points now is Chris Booker.
Woo!
Congratulations, Chris. Welcome aboard. What is your first executive decision now you're steering the good ship culture?
You're getting fired for starters because you've just hired someone who's given literally not one single fact, who clearly is massively underqualified. So there needs to be a big retooling from up and down. And the first thing is you need a different job.
Can't argue with any of it. Thank you very much, Chris. Chris, where can we find you doing comedy?
Oh,
This is the bit where you plug yourself.
I haven't done stand-up since March. I tell you what, if you know where to find me doing comedy, can you let me know?
Yeah, fair enough.
I am on social media, Chris Booker. It's very important that you put Chris Booker, not Chris Brooker, because he's already more famous than me.
Well, the way you feel about him is the way he feels about Charlie Brooker, so don't worry.
Becky, Silky, thank you very much for applying. I'm afraid we don't have a role to offer you today. Anything you guys would like to plug?
I do have a leak in my roof that will require plugging at some point.
Wonderful stuff.
I have social media stuff. If you look for a Paul Silky White or Silky the Comedian, you can find me across most channels. I have a USB live show for sale. It's been handy. I'm showing it to you guys, but obviously on radio it's tech all use. I also teach comedy and improv and guitar online. And at some point in 2021, I hope to go outside my front door, look at all the pints of milk and assume that the local constabulary have assumed that I'm an elderly person who's died over the Christmas break.
Delightful. What a final word. So all that's left for me to do is say goodbye from Becky, Silky, Chris, and of course our dead studio audience, who once again didn't actually feature in the show. And hope you'll join us again next week for another exciting episode of Inform, Educate and Entertain.
That was Inform, Educate and Entertain, starring Sam Wilkinson with special guests Chris Booker, Becky Heaviside and Silky. The jazz script was written by Sam Wilkinson, the program was edited by Sam Wilkinson, and Sam Wilkinson did everyone's makeup too. It was a fictional production company production for IEE and the Internet. Farewell.